For the past 10 years, teenagers from various religious traditions have been traveling to New Mexico to participate in an immersive, week-long interfaith trip. They helped serve meals to the homeless. They explored beautiful national parks. They helped with graffiti removal on the pueblos, and they visited dozens of houses of worship, Jewish synagogues, Sikh gurdwaras, Catholic churches, Hindu ashrams, and Zen Buddhist monasteries, to name a few. A key component of this project has been the opportunity to participate in interfaith dialogue with religious leaders from various faith communities. At the heart of this experience was engaging in interfaith dialogue with teenagers from other religious traditions. In most cases, this was the first time they had meaningful conversations with teens from other traditions, or even had the chance to share their own religious beliefs in meaningful ways. The experiences of these young people give us hope that we can build a more peaceful world in which everyone is respected and valued. This video documents how these unique, immersive interfaith experiences have impacted hundreds of teenagers. They prove there is indeed hope for the future.
But the point of this trip was not to convert you, and I think it was strengthened because I got to learn about other people's traditions, and it helped me both appreciate mine and find a deeper meaning in our traditions and Jewish culture.
And I learned a lot about the Sikh religion that I didn't know before. But overall, this trip was really nice, and yeah, it was better than I expected. And I got to learn a lot of new things, and if I could come again, I would. And I just want everyone else to go on it.
I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life. It's definitely not something I'll forget. And usually when you go to something like this, after a while you're kind of done with it and you want to leave. I really can't even imagine leaving right now.
All of the places that we've been to have offered such unique experiences that, like Oscar said, I don't think we'll be able to experience very much throughout our lives. I feel like I've learned so much and realized so many things from all of the various people that have talked to us that we've learned things from. And it's hard to explain exactly what has changed, but I feel like from now on I will look at things slightly differently and have a greater appreciation for things that I might not have appreciated before.
Well, it's a great thing because since there's still people that are hating other religions, and this interfaith program brings other religion to be more social and to bring peace together, because to me, all religions have the same goal, bringing world peace.
Really enjoyed visiting the different religions, places like the Sikh temple, the Buddhist temple, the Jewish synagogue. I felt that really helped me just see and appreciate all the different cultures and religions.
It kind of opens my eyes to see just different things and just what different people believe in, and it made my faith stronger, and it just made me realize how much my religion means to me.
And through all this bonding, we can realize what similarities we have and use that to bond with all the faiths in our community, because faith is so important to so many people, and so if you really connect with them through their faiths, you can connect with them on different levels. So I guess that's what I'm trying to hope to learn, to connect with other faiths through my own faith.
In San Jose during the orientation was noticeably awkward for the teens. You can cut the tension with a knife, not knowing each other's names, not knowing each other's faiths, definitely having some fear of what to expect from this trip. And within the 5-6 days, they have truly transformed to a group of friends that if you saw them together, you would think they knew each other for a very, very, very long time. But definitely in the beginning of the trip, you could see how tense they were. And now at the end of the trip, last night during the closing remarks, on their own decided to do a group hug. And right before they went to bed, again decided to do a group hug. And I think that was really sweet and very tender.
At first, discussing between the Buddhists and Catholics, I was kind of nervous, and I was a little worried that there would be too many differences between, but as
we went through the one-on-one and the group talks, I noticed that we really had a lot in common, and that we were really open to each other, and I realized that we all had the same goal, like peace and harmony.
I didn't want to at first. I was so nervous about going. I was like, what will the other kids be like? Will it be really hard to talk to these Buddhist teens about my faith? But it was fascinating, like how everyone, it was just like I was talking to another kid at school, and then all of a sudden we would be doing prayer, and they would be doing these chants that were in this other language that I'd never heard of, yet they were exactly like me, but they were so different in the way that they worshipped. And then we compared all the similarities, and I just think it's an experience that you don't want to miss out on.
I guess coming into the trip, I didn't really expect to connect so easily with the people that we met on this trip. I just thought that it would be like, I don't know, just from history and all that I've experienced in my life, that religion has always been kind of a touchy subject, and that unless you're like the same religion. And I just thought it was really neat how it wasn't really a big issue. It was really easy for us to just you know, experience chanting with the Buddhists, and then us like praying the rosary, and then during the day a lot of us just kind of like forgot even like who was Buddhist and who was Catholic, and I don't know, just everyone here was so welcoming. I just felt like, especially coming to the New Mexico just culture in general, and the people like Jennifer and the other leaders in the group, just everyone was so welcoming, and it didn't feel like there were any barriers that we had to overcome. Just there was no heated arguments, no discussions, no standoffishness from anybody. It just felt so welcoming and so at ease and so at peace. Because, like I mentioned earlier, I think just like a lot of us are so used to being in a competitive environment, and in a environment where we have to like prove ourselves, or like where we have to explain ourselves to people, but it just felt like everybody accepted one another without condition. So I felt like that was a really great part of the trip.
We've gone to a Tibetan Buddhist monastery and also a Zen Buddhist monastery, and we've also like done listened to native like tribal music, and everything was it's just very touching to hear like different ways that people connect to the earth and the world and each other. I learned a lot about Judaism, Roman Catholic religion when we went to the Jewish temple. Rabbi Neil, he was talking about the Torah, and we also read with books. Something that he said that really stuck with me was what his wife said about religion, is that it's like getting to school, that whether you go to school on a bike or if you walk or drive or any of those things, you're getting there in a different way, but you're still all going to school. And I thought that was like a really good way to describe religion, because there's lots of different religions, but we're all planning on going to the same place. We all have the same intentions, I think, and I thought that was really well said.
Teens from different faiths came together, and we went to learn about
all these different traditions, and we went to the religious temples of all these different religions just to learn more about so we can appreciate other religions. Well, we went to a Zen temple and we practiced meditating the first day, and that was really cool to me because I hadn't ever meditated, so it made me really think about myself and my breathing. And we've gone to all these other different temples. We went to a Jewish temple, we went to two Catholic churches.
The in-depth experience of going into a different house of worship and talking to someone, an elder especially of one faith, having those words of wisdom, that sage advice about life as well as the faith was very exceptional. I didn't expect that at all. And so that was real. I kind of just expected, an introduction about the faith, and then, we'd look around and leave. But the fact that we were able to ask so many questions and have practically every question answered in some way with so much respect, that in and of itself made the trip so wonderful.
Well, we went to a Buddhist monastery the very first day, and that was my first really, I would say, that was the first time I was ever exposed to the Buddhist faith, or anyone who was Buddhist, and I really appreciated the meditation that we participated in with one of the priests, and it stood out to me. It was just kind of like the first time I ever really experienced another religion other than Catholicism.
I really liked going to the farms. We went to the Agua Fria Community Farm, and then the other farm that we went to today, I can't remember the name of it, but where we got to pick carrots and pick just different vegetables and help clean and weed and clean up the farms, and it just felt really like we were immersing ourselves in the community of New Mexico, just because I know that it's like agriculture is just a really big commodity here, and just a really big part of community and family here. And I thought it was really fun, just everybody kind of not worrying about being too messy or too dirty, and just everybody just having fun. And weeding was actually a really enjoyable experience, because it's not too often that in San Jose I get to just dig my feet in the dirt and just really feel the produce that I get to eat every day, but I've never actually seen it in the ground and have got to touch it with my hands and be a part of producing it and be a part of feeding a larger community than just my own garden at home. So, and also cleaning up one of the national parks here was really fun too, because even though it was pouring rain and we were looking for people's trash that was very unsanitary and stuff, it was still really fun just to know that we were all of us were just joking around and laughing together, and despite the rain and despite the trash, it really wasn't hard at all. It was actually really fun just to know that we were helping upkeep a place that was so beautiful and so respected by so many people and visited by so many great people, and just all of us just made it really fun. So
we shared Havdalah, which is the prayer that we do every Saturday night to mark the ending of Shabbat, and we all made spice bags, and then we all went outside and we waited for the 3 stars to come out, and then we lit the candles and did the Havdalah prayers.
I had a lot of fun. I really like connecting with Mother Earth and things like that. We've been talking to a lot of people from the Navajo traditions, and it's been really cool to see their faith. And we also visited Buddhist temples, and it's cool to see their faith. And we've been to a Catholic church, and just going to all these faiths and talking to other people at different faiths, and then realizing we have so many similarities. It's kind of crazy that there's so much conflict over religion, when if you really go into philosophy of each faith, they're so similar. They all have the same core beliefs of love and peace and justice. And I think that's why we're doing this, to find those similarities. I think that's the importance of interfaith.
Personally, I really enjoyed the KSK Buddhist monastery, which was for Tibetan monks. I found that place really interesting because it kind of combined this idea of both like the political asylum of Tibetan monks, which with their spiritual practices, because like they had to leave Tibet, but they were able to reestablish themselves in a totally new place and still practice their religion. And another aspect I really liked about that place was that it emphasized the interfaith like experience that like Buddhism truly is, because a lot of the artwork and a lot of the architecture, like especially in Buddhism, is actually like just an amalgamation of like different types of architecture from like India and artwork from India, which was really interesting because all of their artwork on the walls, it had many parallels to Hindu gods and to Muslim like iconography that like was really interesting for me.
Throughout our time here, I think what stood out to me the most was like everyone sharing at night, just because I thought like everyone's personal connection to their religion and how they feel about their religion was honestly the most striking to me. And I think that's where like I started to realize that we're like really not that different, and I think the feeling that we all feel in our perspective religion was kind of like what I think drew this group closer together. And then also I really enjoyed on this trip a lot of how we talked about like the Native American and like spirituality and kind of nature, and I really enjoyed that emphasis because I didn't expect it when I signed up. I thought it was just going to be more like we all sit around and talk about religion, but I really enjoyed that nature aspect because I hadn't thought about kind of spirituality connecting with nature. Like I had thought a little bit about it, but I didn't realize to the extent to which like we could all relate to that, and that was what I found to be really inspiring. And kind of like everyone else is saying, like I thought it was really inspiring experience that like you can't really find anywhere else.
You could see like she actually like wanted good for us, and like she's not just saying it. You could see like the love in her eyes. I found that very nice, and it was very comforting.
Made me find maybe like a deeper appreciation for my practice, and so it really made me think, okay, well, I know that there's a lot of similarities, and it made me happy for some reason. Like it just made me happy just learning more about them, and I was like, well, we all have similar goals, and like one of them was like peace, peace for everybody. That's kind of like one of the big main ones. And so I don't know, it just made me kind of happy to understand everyone's religion a little more. It really made me think about my teaching and like, well, what like I should be practicing more, or I should be doing like going to my temple more. I just feel like everyone should be able to go on this trip because like it's very well, for me, I learned like a lot of things that I didn't know, and it made me find a deeper appreciation for my teaching, and it just made me more knowledgeable as a person. And it really made me like hearing everyone else's, how everyone else's thinks. Like I love listening to different, point of views, and like I feel like listening to all of you guys, talk, it really made me like change how I look at things. I was like, but I'm definitely glad I came here.
It made me realize the beauty of each religion. Before going to this trip, I didn't really understand why I was a Buddhist. However, this trip taught me that I should feel lucky to be born into a religious family, because some of the people we met have taken them a long time before they found their religion. Also, discussing about religion with my peers also helped me, because they helped me connect my dots and made me realize that a lot of us believe in similar things, and if not, they also had an interesting take on it. But after the presentations, I have a better understanding of different religions. I'm surprised because all of the other religions are beautiful in their own way. I was also surprised to see similarity between Shinto Buddhism, Jainism, and Hinduism. The biggest takeaway I got from this trip was that all the religions are similar in some sort of way, but also different and unique, which helped me see life in a completely different way, which was interesting because that would have never happened if I didn't go on this trip.
These past few years, I've been trying to learn more about my religion, but it hasn't really worked out. And I think this has definitely motivated me to try to learn more about Buddhism and become more involved.
I think it's a great experience because it's not every day that you get to experience another religion beside from yours so openly and welcomingly. And it was really nice to see other people who have a common goal as us, to take a step towards world peace by embracing one of our biggest differences, which is religion. I was really hit when we went to go visit the river, the Rio Grande River, and the moment when they were singing, Pat and Lila, when they were singing their prayer, I felt so grateful to be there. And when they said welcome, bringing their ancestors, my tears started flowing through my eyes. And it wasn't me that was crying. It almost felt as if ancestors were crying through me, because it wasn't me that was crying. It was another force. I'm not very familiar with other religions besides the Shinto and Buddhism. And so it really helped me by understanding in both ways how interacting with other people and understanding each other would really help world peace, because some people just don't take the time to understand each other. And that's how conflict and war starts on. I think this really helped me open up some doors and open up my eyes. And so I feel that I can be more understanding with everybody, and maybe if I take the first step of being kind and compassionate and understanding with other people, maybe other people can follow that, and maybe eventually we can see a world where there is no discrimination or conflict because we're different.
Before other religions kind of seemed like an alien topic. I didn't know what it was, and I thought a lot of people were really strong to their religion, because I've met some people who really believe in their religion and they won't listen to anyone else, and their religion is the only way. And so I was afraid that was what everyone was going to be like, but when I came here and I got to know everyone, I found out that that's not how everyone is.
The interfaith dialogue was fascinating. It was so enjoyable to... I've learned about Buddhism in the classroom for years, but having actually spoken to youths my own age about their religion and how they follow it was an experience that I could never have imagined. I feel like I have so much more of a connection now, not only with these other youths, but also with my own faith. I see how other people observe my faith, and I feel like I can realize more now that my faith is, to other people, it is a faith. To me, it was always just a set of guidelines that I followed, but now it more is my faith. It is what I believe in, and other people can see that.
On this trip, I've talked to many different people of different religious traditions, and it's helped me realize that we all have come together for one common goal, which is peace and a better environment for other people and for ourselves. So I think that talking to other religions helps me realize that even though we may practice different religions, believe in a different God, or have a different holy book, these barriers are not able to stop us. We can come together. There is hope to come together and bring peace to our world.
I have no words to describe it. It was wonderful. I got to connect with so many people on the council, and I'm sure that we'll be able to work very well together in the future. And I got to see so many different things that I never got to experience and never got to see before. I got to see the beautiful mountains of New Mexico. I got to farm for the first time, and I got to feel like I was actually participating in growing food and supplying people with something to eat. I also got to work in a soup kitchen, and I thought that was wonderful. I got to see all the people and their happy faces after they got to eat. Overall, this retreat has been a waypoint in my life that I'm never going to forget. It's been really interesting getting to know different people from different religions. I kind of knew a little bit about each religion, the Hindu, Zoroastrian, and Christians, and the Buddhists, but I didn't know what the individual types of practices were. And it was wonderful. Every night we've been doing a tradition of each person is doing their own prayer. And so last night I did my own prayer, which was Havdalah. And it was wonderful to see how everybody participated in it and was very welcoming of my tradition. And I'm hoping that I've been doing the same and appreciating other people's traditions and being able to investigate how they see the world through their religion. I hope to take away great enthusiasm and knowledge from this experience. I'm hoping that I'll be able to understand more what it's like for the people who are farming, who live out here in these rural communities, and how they also need to have a support system. And to also understand, like, we need to build bonds with other religions. We can't just separate ourselves, because the world can only work together if everyone actually does work together. The world needs everyone to participate, to help the earth, and to join together in traditions regardless of like how we look or what our religion is or even how we see the world. It makes the world much more interesting and allows us to have so many more ideas. So I'm hoping that from this whole experience I can take away many ideas and put them into play in San Jose and hopefully build like a tighter knit community from this experience.
For example, during the school year, I kind of put religion on the back burner. I focus more on my studies or other activities. Or if my mom asks me if I want to go to the temple, I'll say, oh, I have something with friends instead. But instead, religion is not something that I kind of kept those two lives almost separate, like my school friends and friends from temple. But being able to sort of have, for example, the friends I've met here who are both people I can discuss religion with as well as people I have fun with, shows me that you can really combine them both without it getting any really awkward or not knowing what to talk about. I think interfaith dialogue is very important, especially today, because there's so many conflicts and wars that are caused by lack of understanding of other religions, other faiths, lack of this acceptance, because people don't understand, so they just simply kind of go off these stereotypes, which leads to miscommunication, which ultimately leads to many wars. So definitely having this understanding of other religions helps people to be able to peacefully talk things through, as well as see things from others' perspective and kind of understand more about their own religion.
I was born into a Catholic family in which I have gone to Catholic school all my life. And unfortunately, for most of my life, the only exposure to other religions I had were stereotypes and fear. All these stereotypes about Muslims and Jews, and I was indirectly taught to hate them. But coming on this trip, I learned more about who those people really are, why they worship who they worship, and what the religion is all about. And it helped me come to realize that all these different religions, even ones I never even heard of, we're all on the same path to peace. Kind of like my t-shirt, Infinite Paths to Peace. We all have different ways of doing it. We all have our different paths, but in the end, we're all fighting for world peace, and that's why social justice, I'm so passionate about social justice. Because I want to make a change in the world. And whether that change, my motivation to make a change is inspired by God or my family or my friends, it doesn't matter, because everybody's striving for that change, and we should respect why everybody does what they do and who they believe in.
Because the experiences that we've had over the last 3 days, it's only been 3 days, have been incredible. I've learned more over this one weekend that actually matters in life than I usually do in weeks at school. Because if you think about it, the stuff that we're learning now, how to interact with other people who come from different backgrounds than us, and learning about other cultures around the world, that kind of information is what we're going to have to take with us in the rest of our life. We're all really lucky to be able to come on this kind of trip, and every single house of worship that we've been to has had its own sort of overwhelming sense of welcoming, and just the second that I step inside all of them, I feel like I'm suddenly part of this I'm a piece of the puzzle, and I think that's how they're really supposed to to feel, that because each of these religions are designed to welcome people and to make people feel wanted and feel like they have some connection to the rest of the world. And even though I don't practice any of these other religions, the second that I step inside their building, they've put so much attention and so much love into the community that they've built that it spreads into outsiders and people who have just been there for like 20 minutes. And I think that that's something that I'm not going to be able to experience very many times in my life, and this has been like one giant concentration of it over a weekend. So I'm really appreciative of all of that.
For teens my age and you know, who are Catholic, I would say that it's you don't need to feel intimidated or nervous or scared of opening up to another religion, or even learning about it, because in the end, knowledge, you know, doesn't hurt you.
I believe that we have to have faith, and crises like poverty, hunger, global warming, things like that, they may seem scientifically like there's no way to, scientifically and economically, there's no way to, fix these problems, but idealism is the signature of the youth, and I feel if we bring in some idealistic ideas into the future, that some of them will become realistic and some of them will become world-changing. And I definitely believe that we can change the world for the better.
Something that I won't forget for the rest of my life.